What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Steelers Crazy, a sick production. I'm JY. I'm here with my man, Mr. Michael Nicastro. We have a former Steelers running back that's going to be joining the show. So I can't wait to pick his brain about that running back room. So, Sammy, play that thing.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Aaron Smith shields. Flacco. Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast.
Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
Man, every time I hear them highlights, I'm just ready to get down to Acrisure Stadium. And, is it September 11th yet? I guess they're in Cincinnati to start off, but I'm going to be waiting down there until the home game, man. Like I said, man, we have a very special guest today. I'm just going to announce him. He needs no introduction. Mr. Isaac Redman. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, doing great.
So people want to know, obviously they know about your play on the field. People want to know, what's Isaac Redman doing nowadays?
Right now I'm just coaching football, helping out with a couple high school programs and coaching my son's youth football team, which is fun. He's 11 years old, my oldest son. That's fun, just watching him grow and loving the game of football. And, also have a 7-on-7 program that I helped start out here called Slime University. So, my free time is pretty much surrounded around football.
That's awesome.
He's still repping the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously. I see it right there on the chest, man. I know you recently, I think we're either at Heinz Field catching up with Coach Tomlin or maybe up there at camp. Let's roll a little clip of that, and then we'll ask you back.
Yeah, that's just
That's you in the white with your son?
Yeah, I had two of my sons with me and my wife along with me. We were invited out to the preseason game. It was a great experience for my kids because they're big time Steelers fans, especially my oldest. He actually was born when I was in the league, so he was around a little bit. So he's a big time Steelers fan. It was a great experience. He even got DK Metcalf's cleat that day. He signed it and gave him his cleat. Yeah, so he was excited. It was got to take a picture with Cam Hayward. He was very excited. He got to see his favorite players.
Maybe the Seahawks will be his second favorite team now, which is understandable after you get a DK Metcalf cleat. Oh my gosh, that is sweet. Is he following Dad's footsteps? Is he playing running back?
Yeah, he's playing running back. Defensively, plays corner. He's pretty fast. I don't know where he got his speed from.
Well, everybody knows you obviously as a kind of a grounded pound churner in that backfield. And I want to ask you about the current Steelers stable. I'll stay on that topic of running backs. Obviously, you got Najee Harris at the top. But I really want to ask you about Jaylen Warren because I see a lot of similarities between his game and your game. You're an undrafted guy who made an impact in this league. Jaylen Warren, undrafted. I think he transferred to a JUCO college at one point and really an unheralded guy. What do you see from him? What do you know about him? And what kind of drives him?
I definitely see a lot of me in him, and especially about, the drive and determination. Coming as an undrafted player, you got to have that chip on your shoulder to want to prove the doubters wrong and, make a name for yourself. So I definitely see a lot of me of just the passion and the grind, to try to get there and try to make the team and try to be a part of the team and have a role. The running back room is thin. But I think that those guys can get the job done for sure.
Let's catch up a little bit more on these backs. We're talking with former Steelers back, Isaac Redman. There's nobody that knows Steelers backfield quite like this guy. At least Jordan and I don't. So, hey, Najee Harris, this guy, what can you say about him? Durable. He's jumping over guys in preseason games, which I think is a bit crazy. But we are Steelers crazy over here, so we can relate, I guess, in a sense. As a running back, I'm curious. I really am. If you're Najee Harris, I know you had some starts where you were, starting the game, getting 20 carries. What is your mindset kind of going into that game, and how do you prep yourself for taking such a beating, even if it's recovery? How do you recover after 25 carry game?
I think the best preparation for that is the off-season training. You can't start to prep for that when the season starts. You have to train your body to be able to sustain those type of hits week in and week out. Because the recovery, you might wake up the next day and feel like, oh, I can't even get out of bed. I know that's how I feel sometimes. Later in the season. So, the harder you train, the more you get your body ready and prepared and eating right and drinking a lot of water and putting the right things in your body definitely helps your recovery. Because he led the season in touches last year, so I'm sure
Yep.
he's ready. He's ready to go, and I just think those other guys have to be able to step up, and I have to be able to give him a break because you don't want to, you don't want to run him too much. You don't want to run the wheels off of him too soon.
Mhm.
I know he's young. I know he can take it, but you want to try to pace him so he can be there for a long time.
Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Coach Tomlin. That was a cool clip. I'm sure he was not only a coach, but a bit of a father figure to you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, Coach Tomlin's always a great guy. Not even just as a coach, just a great guy. Genuinely cares about the players. Genuinely cared about me. It was a couple of instances when I was there that he looked out for me. Death in my family, he let me go home and be with my family, and then
Wow.
brought me back. So it was then I was the year I was on the practice squad. My first cousin, who was like a brother to me, had passed away, and they released me, but it wasn't really a release. They just released me so I could go home and be with my family and mourn with my
Wow.
family. And when that was over, when the funeral and everything was over, it was time for me to come back. They brought me back and released whoever they had brought back in on the practice squad. So that's just something that he did for me, that I will always be thankful for, because that was a tough time for my family. It was a sudden death. So when I actually seen him, he actually seen me on the sideline. I don't think he knew I was going to be there. He seen me on the sideline. When he saw me, he came right over, hey man, how's life going? Spoke to the kids, talked with my family. That's just, that's the type of coach he is.
Yeah. So kind of just to piggyback off that, what did we like to ask everyone. Obviously, you only played for the Steelers, right? Your whole career.
Correct.
So what did that mean for you to put on that uniform on Sundays and just be a part of the culture that is being a Pittsburgh Steeler?
It meant the world to me. I grew up, and I'm from New Jersey, but I grew up in the Philadelphia area, so I always grew up a diehard Eagles fan, and all my life I was like, oh, there's nothing like Eagles fans, and coming to Pittsburgh, it was just like wow, like it was the commitment, like the fans, the way they embrace you. Philly, they can be rough on their fans. Pittsburgh can too, but Pittsburgh is more of a die hard. They stay loyal. You are very,
Yeah.
very loyal fans. Out this area, you can see, oh, I'm a Cowboys fan. Oh, I like the Redskins. You go to Pittsburgh, you're going to see Steelers fans. You're 99% Steeler fans there. That's what I love most about the city. The love they have for the team and for the players is unmatched.
Yeah. So what would you say your favorite memory? If you had to just pinpoint one or maybe a couple, but just one that really sticks out to you that during your playing days that you can tell us about.
Hmm. Probably would be two. One would be the catch that I made versus the Ravens
Yeah.
to win the game. That was that kind of like solidified my spot on the team. Like just that I am a player that can help this team reach high expectations. And the other one was when we won the AFC Championship versus the Jets. That was just
I
an
remember.
amazing feeling to know you get ready to go to the Super Bowl. You just
Yeah.
running around the stadium, and it was like -10 degrees, but I didn't feel
Yeah.
anything. So that was probably my two favorite moments there.
It's awesome.
That's when it helps to be a bigger back, I guess, and not a kicker or something who's feeling that wind and that cold. Oh man, that's wonderful. Of course, we all can't forget the Antonio Brown catch at the end of that game. That just sealed the deal. for the Steelers. Some missed field goals over there in New York. If you talk to those guys, they still have a little bit of a vendetta for sure. I think I want to get you out of here on this. It's kind of a goofy question, but I'm always curious. I remember when you were playing, you had a real breakthrough, and I can't remember what year it was, but you became a fantasy football darling. Everybody was playing you left and right on their fantasy team because people were like, you know what? Isaac Redman has burst through for the Steelers. Did anybody ever come up to you and say, hey, listen, man, you got me a couple big fantasy wins here?
Man, all the time.
I knew it. I had a feeling.
All the time, man. And I at that time I had never played. I play fantasy football now, as you know, it's fun. But at that time, I didn't really know anything about fantasy football. I'm like, why do people keep saying, make sure you run for 100 yards this week? I'm starting you.
That is hilarious. I mean, I had you on my team, and this year, obviously, I'm sure if you and your kids are playing, you got to take Najee Harris, you got to take DK Metcalf now. You have any teams already out there?
No, I haven't. I'm just in one league this year. We haven't even drafted yet.
Smart. Obviously, you get to wait for injuries and things of that nature. Well, I tell you what, man, it's been an absolute honor to have you jump on the show over here at the Sick Podcast, Steelers in Tandem. Of course, weekends are crazy. He's repping the black and gold. He's repping the Steelers logo right there. He's not messing around, of course. He was just at Heinz Field dapping up Coach Tomlin with his kids. It's Isaac Redman. Thanks so much for joining us, my man.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Tell you what, Jordan, really cool stuff. Anytime you get to talk to a former Pittsburgh Steeler that had a pretty big impact, not only on the team, but in the community as well. It's great to see that he's carrying on his Steelers fandom with his kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think, like I said, he played his whole career as a Steeler, and I enjoyed watching him. That was the Packers Super Bowl, right? That he played in.
Yep, you got it.
I didn't want to bring that up, but I mean, that's one Super Bowl that I'd like to forget. Obviously, the XL one. I think that we were at your mom's house in Fox Chapel, and I'll never forget that we got dropped off, and we're supposed to go to school the next day, and man, we were too many Mountain Dews.
No, you're right, because we were young at that age. That might have been 16, 17, and we were supposed to go to school the next day, and we got dropped off at my dad's and just fell asleep on the couch and never did skip school. It should be a day off of school every time the Steelers win a playoff game. I was almost going to be inclined to say every time they win a game, you should have Mondays off so the entire city can celebrate.
I'm going to start the petition now. I'm writing it down.
I want you to get out your pen and paper right now. Every time the Steelers win a game, not just a playoff game or a Super Bowl, we want at least half-day Mondays. How about like a 2-hour delay on a Monday? Pretend the snow just fell. Give everybody a 2-hour delay to recover, because you already know parents were up late, screaming, yelling at their TV, probably can't wake up, get their kids on the bus in time anyway. Probably had a 6-pack of Iron City the night before. So we're doing it today. When the Steelers win a game, at least a 2-hour delay every single Monday at school.
Sign me up.
I don't have to convince you. We love 2-hour delays. And I tell you what, you're about to have a daughter. So it would give you a little extra sleep on a Monday, or Alyssa an extra sleep on a Monday whenever you're taking her to school in 4 or 5 years.
Sounds good to me. And I think I already tweeted this earlier, but I just wanted to say it on the podcast. I am picking the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1 to go into Cincinnati and win. I don't want to put a score out there, but I don't know, man. These Bengals fans I see on Twitter, and I get it, man. Joe Burrow, they do have a good team. I'm not saying that, but I don't want to call it a fluke year. But from what I was reading earlier today, they had almost this identical record as to the Steelers, or maybe a couple games better or whatever, and just got hot at the right time, just like the Steelers do. I think the one year that they won the Super Bowl, they were a wild card, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, that's just my bold prediction going into. I guess it's Steelers crazy, hence the podcast name. So I just wanted to put that out there, and we're excited, man. We're, like I said, we're gonna have guests on. Just had Isaac on, and we have the Chris Wormley and Friend show coming. There's just so much. So just make sure you subscribe, and we can't thank the Sick Podcast, Sammy, and everyone enough for everything.
I got to ask you something real quick before we depart. not just Steelers. I know you're one of the biggest Pitt loyalists around. We have a big game coming up. By the time this drops, the game's already going to be over, but that's okay. They'll get to either look at you and think he's an expert or he's an idiot. Give me a Pitt, West Virginia backyard brawl prediction. Pitt going to win? They're 7.5-point favorite.
Yeah, dude. Pitt is just way too good. They could win the ACC again this year. I know Kenny Pickett, who's now the Steelers quarterback, is tweeting, and he's going to be in attendance. If Kenny Pickett's in the building, Pitt's not losing. So stamp it, seal it, send it. And most importantly, I think it's going to be a rout. West Virginia, they on paper they do not seem that good this year. And Pitt, getting Slovis from USC and everything, he can be a Heisman contender. They definitely have the best offensive line in the ACC, but they might have a better offensive line than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, sign, seal, deliver it, and clip it. I love that clip. I think Sammy Nanello got to get us that one, especially if they win tomorrow. And you said as long as Kenny Pickett is at Heinz Field, they aren't losing. Hopefully that carries over into Steelers season whenever he does get the chance, and that's ultimately the case. Ultimately the case with him with the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. Steeler fans will love that line. As long as Kenny Pickett is at Heinz Field, the Steelers are not losing. All right, JY, let's jump out of here, man. It's been a pleasure. Isaac Redman on the show. Like you said, I need everybody to follow at SickPod Steelers on Twitter. Find us on Instagram, Facebook. We're going to be doing big things the rest of the season. Jordan mentioned it. Steelers on every week when the season starts. The Chris Wormley and Friends show. Giveaways from amazing sources. Yinzershop.com. Don't forget about them. You can get some amazing Pittsburgh Steelers gear before the season. Some shirts that say it's still Heinz Field because we hate Acrisure. Just kidding. We're going to love Acrisure if Pitt gets a win tonight and the Steelers start off the season on a good note. It'll make Acrisure all gravy with everybody else. All right, for JY, I'm Mike. Thanks to Isaac Redman once more. You just watched the Sick Podcast, Steelers Crazy. Peace.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.